Mrs. Harini is a personal transformation coach and mentor and conducts training programs on top 10 life skills defined by World Health Organization. She also conducts program for teachers on leadership skills and soft skills and delivers session on parenting skills. As an NLP practitioner and a cognitive behavior therapist, she brings awareness in one-on-one coaching session with individuals about their limiting beliefs and patterns and facilitates them to realize their own potential by breaking the barriers. She also coaches and helps women and entrepreneurs through the Success Design Program, a personal session to explore goals, gain clarity, focus, and how to grow business and develop personality by building confidence and self esteem. She is the recipient of many awards and accolades and also serves as the executive board member of NFET Business Facilitators Forum. She is the founder of Viba Education Services Corp, Bangalore, Karnataka. I now invite Mrs. Harini to deliver the session on entrepreneurship mindset and ecosystem for promoting entrepreneurship.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ramya ma'am. Hope I'm audible and clear.
Yeah, you're audible and your screen is visible, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. So, shall I proceed with this session?
Yes,
Start.
kindly proceed.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful introduction, ma'am. So, I welcome you all for the day session on entrepreneur mindset and ecosystem for promoting entrepreneurship. It's session 2 of day 1. So this is I'm going to throw some lights on entrepreneurial mindset and the ecosystem for promoting entrepreneurship. That's what we are going to see. And the objective of what we are going to see in the next 1 hour is entrepreneurial parameters, understand the entrepreneurial mindset, secrets to success, and entrepreneurship ecosystem. So before starting, I would like to take this session interactive as much as possible. I would like you to give your answers in the chat box to share your answers and participate along. And so I would like to know, so please, before I start, I would request all of you to have a notepad and a pen nearby you so that you can take notes or answer the questions which I'm going to ask. You can find answers for whatever doubts as I raise the questions for what I want you to think on certain areas. So being a faculty members and research person, we are always teachers, we are trainers, we are coaches, we are leaders. But before we move on for the next 1 hour, I would request you or suggest you to all have some intention set for the next 1 hour. I am a teacher, a trainer, a coach, a leader, yes. But for the next 1 hour, I'm going to be an observer, a learner, a listener. I'm going to be a sponge, absorb everything as much as I could from this. Just set your intentions for a minute. Close your eyes and set intentions. Every time when we set intentions, we get what we want because we become clear of what we want. So I would request you all to have set your intention before I move on. And I am also waiting for everyone to give an yes in the chat box to boost me up. You all had your coffee, so I was waiting for you all to come back. So I'm just requesting all the participants to give me a yes. Yes, type a yes, I will take it ahead. I'll move on to the next screen. So just yes, set your intentions because it is difficult for some time because so much of knowledge being thrown to us. It's sometimes even an overwhelming feeling for all of us, especially in this pandemic. We are continuously listening to webinars, sessions, everything, so on and so forth. So let's unlearn and relearn certain things again. I'm not going to teach anything big or different. You all know everything, but I'm just going to just brush it up for one more time. Lovely, lovely, everyone. Thank you so much. Here we go on. So morning, the before session, 1 hour before, Professor Ganeshan sir, Dr. Ganeshan sir threw so much of light on vision, mission, and goals. I'm going to ask you just one question because it's been so much explained about it. I know you faculties, you people have goals which your organization puts it across. Okay, so your institution says, no, this is what your goal, this is what we are going to achieve, maybe 100% results. This is what this number of enrollments and this number of people are going to be placed in the corporates, whatever. So you are working towards the organization mission and goals. Now, my question to you all is, what is your vision as a person first? As a though as a profession who you are, you might be a research scholar, you might be a faculty, whoever you are in a position. What is your mission? Your professional, your career vision is what the organization has put towards the strategic in terms of writing, which is you have adapted, you have understood it. But what is your mission? What is your vision as a person? What you want to create a mark in the world? What you want to make yourself a remarkable person? So just take a second, write out what is my vision. See, I want you all to write down your vision in the note now. Just write what comes to your mind. You don't need to think big. Whatever comes from your heart, just pour it out. And it might change after some time. So just don't judge yourself here. Just write out what is my vision today. Okay, and what is my mission, how I'm going to put across, if you can think of it, because mission needs a lot of strategic thinking, a lot of work behind. Okay, at least try to cover your vision, and once you could write your vision, just keep it aside, and I want all of you to write 3 goals now. Okay, just write 3 goals. Maybe you can choose one professional, one personal, and one towards your family or towards your community. You can say any generic thing. So I would suggest you all to write 3 goals now. Okay, just write 3 goals. Before I move on to the next slide, I'll tell you what it is. So once you write down your goals, just write it. Okay, I want this, or whatever your goal is, whatever you wish to publish this much of research papers, to become this best faculty, the best teacher, trainer, whoever you are. Just write down and say I'm done in the chat box. I will tell what it is next, because everything I'm going to put it out here is have a connection. So if you work along with me, it would be easy for you to understand what I'm actually trying to say, so that you can take the best out of the session after 1 hour. It is not even just listening, taking something back so that you can work on yourself. Okay, I'm just got one done from Naga. Sir, Naga Harita ma'am, I think, yeah. Just got, so I'm looking for more done so that I'll move on. Just write down 3 goals at this point of time. Keep a pen and paper to get the maximum benefit out of this. I promise you, I will not make you, I mean, you will really say thank you. I mean, there will be something for you to take it up. I will not put you down. So there would be something. So please just write 3 goals. Okay, to become a helping hand for students in communication skills. Superb, Sabita. Superb, Sabha. Okay, super. Some more done. You don't, I respect all of your privacy, because we are all grown up adults. We have our own fears, everything. So just write it in a note and say done. Come on, come on, come on. Yes, fulfill institutional objectives. Yes, okay. First goal is that, always, always. Your personal goals, you as a person. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm moving now. Now, what you have your, if I don't know what, okay, want to be instrumental, Dr. Gopala Sudarshan has read. Okay, so now, what if I say, you all written goals, do you know what you've written is called a raw goal? It is just called a raw goal. Then what is actual goal is means? Can anyone type it out? Like, if you don't know, I'm going to say that in a while. I want to become an instrumental person. I improve career development as a professional. Okay. I want to become the best lecturer, whatever. Okay. These are called raw goals. Now, why I'm speaking about goals, being when I talk about entrepreneurship is all about, first, as Sir said an hour before, entrepreneurs need to be have to have the habit of a go-getter. So when you are a go-getter, you need to work on your goals. When you want to develop the entrepreneurial mindset, when you want to develop the entrepreneurial thinking, you have to make yourself as a person. You have to habitualize yourself as a person who write down goals. That's what I'm training you on now. It's not just a webinar. I'm trying to little bit give you a training aspect of that. Okay. Now, example, what if I say you all what you have written is called a goal? It's a raw goal. Now we have to convert this raw goal to a refined goal. Can I say how it is going to be done? You all, how many of you all know SMART goals, like specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, time bound, all that. We all know, you would have heard hundred of times. So, but we keep doing the same thing of writing again. I want to become a best person. I want to be successful. I want to do this. I want to do that. Yes. So, for example, if you ask me to write a goal, I was writing goals which where I never had any habituate of goal setting. I was writing goal, I want this, I want that. Just that. And there was some change in my life. The moment I started writing, adopting this SMART goal strategy. Suppose I wrote, I want to buy a car. That's my goal. What I started writing was, I want to buy a red color Hyundai Accent car with 4 people capacity or 6 people capacity or 3 people capacity within 15 lakhs, and I will buy the car by the end of December 2021. So what I'm doing, I'm not only saying my wish as like I want to buy the car, but I'm also putting it across what car I want, what capacity I want, and how much I can pay. See this, you all agree to me that a car, if you say a car is available for 10 lakhs, 5 lakhs, even 23 crores, right? The maximum 23 crores, 50 crores, it's available. But what you want is what you have to decide. And you want to become this person? Do you want to become that person? That's what you need to decide. So when you are writing a goal for yourself, I want to become a successful lecturer. I want to become the best trainer. I want to become the best faculty. I want to become the wonderful entrepreneur, the successful entrepreneur. Yes. But what you want to do with that? So I want to buy a car, red color Hyundai Accent, within 15 lakhs, red color, by the end of December 2021. Then what will happen to me is all my mind from inside will start working towards achieving the goal. Now, how many of you have seen this? Like I would like to connect this with more of women base. The moment you think about pregnancy or some of your relatives or you get even pregnant at one point of time in life, when you walk on the road, you saw a lot of people around also, where you come across similar women who have conceived. Why this happens? Because you are in a mindset that I am conceived, I am pregnant, and you start seeing similar things. So suddenly this happens, like when you are looking for something. Suppose what happens, say, now you heard about some new word called design thinking, automation. Then you start coming across people who teach design thinking or webinars where design thinking happens. Then you start coming across the same topic again and again because you have observed it in your mind, and every information is out there available, but your mind starts picking what you're looking for from inside, where your curiosity is going. This is what we are going to do in goal setting. So when you write down your goals, now whatever 3 goals if you have written down, try to convert it into smart goal. I want to earn this much by this year as a person of this year. Maybe if you're an entrepreneur or a teacher or a facilitator or a service provider, whoever, a principal, what is my goal? I want to become the best principal. Yes, it's a goal, but how I'm going to convert it, define it more matters a lot. Why, if you're asking me why so much importance is going, you're giving to goals, and Ganeshan sir was also stressing along importance of goal setting as he was talking along the session. It's because it gives you a lot of resilience. It builds up a lot of resilience in you, and you will start achieving, you will become more clear of what you want rather than dwelling upon and wasting your time and spending sharing unwanted messages in the social medias and just wasting your time. You will, every minute of you will be productive, become more productive and more empowering as a person. So that's what it will make you. So, and when you want to achieve bigger goals, what you need to do is just working on the small steps. That's the key. That's the starting key. So after speaking more about your goals, I want to ask you, how many of you know what is imposter syndrome? Do anyone knows what is imposter syndrome here? If you can, yes. If you can type yes. If you know, just type no. What is imposter syndrome? How many of you are aware of this word, imposter syndrome? Come on, I'm looking for answers. No? Okay. Have you heard about this? This is a typical syndrome which not only an entrepreneur, every one of us goes through this, even I, at some point of time. And the moment you become aware of this, that I'm being going to this syndrome, I'll be able to come back out of this. Jyoti knows, says, yes, I know. Wonderful, Jyoti. Anyone? No. Okay, no, okay. Okay. Yes, okay. Many people, very good. Okay. This is every time when I open this topic, I love discussing about this. So imposter syndrome is all about when two people, suppose if two faculties are going to submit a research paper, do the presentation for the day. So they have prepared 1 year, they have researched well, they are going to they have submitted the paper and they are going to present it in the conference or somewhere. Okay, just going to do that presentation time. Imagine two lecturers, two professors who are going to do this. So when first person A and person B, when person A goes and delivers his paper, run through the PPTs, this person B starts thinking, oh wow, it's amazing, so much he has done. Oh, then what I have done? I have not done so much. And for a moment, the person B thinks, I am not enough. And the person A knows so much about this topic, and I don't know much, and starts feeling little low in confidence. But actually, if you see, the person A and person B both are from the faculty department, both are lecturers or professors or teacher, whoever they have put that 1 year of effort in working on the research paper and putting it across. They have done their best. They are equally competent, equally intellectual, equally intelligent, smart, everything. But just by seeing a person A doing something, the person B gets a little dull inside, little bit of low confidence and low self-esteem inside. For it comes and goes. Maybe the person once starts to deliver, he or she might feel better. But for some time, when that person B goes through the process of the emotion, the person A delivery goes through this imposter syndrome that I am not enough, I don't know much. Actually, in reality, if you see the right hand side picture, actually in reality, both A and B are equally capable of doing things, have the same potential. So now my question to you all is, how many of you have faced this in your life at some point of time? You two or same lecturer, two professors meeting, somewhere you feel the person A is more better at some point of time, and you felt, oh, I need to work more, I need to do more, or I'm not enough. This kind of feeling, how many of you have felt this somewhere when you see another principal or another person doing this? How many of you have felt this? It comes and goes. It might not be there for a longer time even, but it comes and goes. How many of you have faced this? Say yes if you have. Yes, I'm looking for the chat box. Yes, yes, it is very common. And people, those who are silent, thinking, should I put a yes there? What the others will think? I would just want to say a word. Even Barack Obama has faced this. Even Oprah Winfrey have faced this. Even Michelle Obama have faced this. In fact, Barack Obama has said as one of his interviews, they have a meetings with Oprah Winfrey, a famous program in USA. So after that program, Oprah Winfrey says, even from president to everyone asked me, is it okay? Was the interview okay? So think about, he was an ex-president. He asked this question, was it okay? Is this interview was okay? Did I do everything good? So that seeks of a validation. People are looking. So it is pretty normal that every human being undergoes this. We have to accept that first. So why I'm bringing this as an part of the entrepreneurship topic? What is the relation? Every entrepreneur undergoes this. Maybe a solopreneur or a big businessman. Some point of time, it's a common individual emotion and a feeling. It's a syndrome that everyone undergoes. So whenever you encounter this, what you need to ask is just three questions. Do I have sufficient knowledge in my area? If the answer is yes, move on. The person may be more intellectual, more better, wonderful, anything, but you need not compare yourself and get into that imposter syndrome mode. Just move, just say, yes, I am having so much of knowledge. If you have some doubts, then go back and read more. Maybe you have to need to read it twice, or you need to Google it more and find what else in the deeper. Or as you do, you will get better at it. So the second one, am I creating any positive difference in my work? The moment you see the person A, you feel, okay, I'm not doing so much to the world. No, when we are all social providers, service providers, when we are working for social community workers, we all think that, at some point of time. So, am I doing any positive difference? Am I creating that? The answer is yes, then you need not think of this imposter syndrome. Align yourself back and move ahead. The third one is, am I really cheating? Am I just saying without any having stuff? Am I just saying I'm the best, I'm awesome, or I'm the intellectual? Then work on, then you need to work on, otherwise you need not bother about this imposter syndrome. So hope you all liked it. Give me a yes if you like this imposter syndrome topic. I will going to move on to the next one. Give me a yes. I want everyone to speak with me, participate with me. Thank you, but I see predominantly two, three people conversing with me. I want more yeses people out there. We keep on, teachers, we lecturers keep on saying our children participate, open your videos, talk to me. You are off on your video, you're mute, you're not listening. But no, how tough it is to sit in front of a laptop and answer and participate. When you do it, you can tell your children, you can talk to your students. You have to be first a learner, then you can be the best teacher in the world. Thank you so much, everyone. Now, if you talk to me, if you ask me, once I understand the imposter syndrome, why I'm not able to take an action? Yeah, I understand. I'm doing my best, but sometimes it stops me from taking action. Right? We all have the fear. Fear is the biggest barrier, whatever we have. There are lots of fears, but predominantly these are the fears everyone undergoes. From an entrepreneur to everyone, being a faculty, being a student, your students also undergo some of these fears. As we go on the age, the fears grows big, right? So the fears, everyone have these fears, and you have to understand, yes, I have all these fears. Acknowledge your fears. When you are a lecturer, a teacher, to build the mindset, now you are exposed to entrepreneurial programs. Now you are being open to step into the platform of entrepreneurial thinking. Then comes the question, yes, I am open to adapt to entrepreneurial thinking, to entrepreneurial way of behaving, and bringing up my students and fostering entrepreneurship in my classrooms, or motivating them, pushing them. But what if I fail? What if I'm not able to do that? That fear comes up and stops you. Okay, let me not take any step. Let me not move out of my comfort zone. That's the answer comes to you from your inner self. So first understand, we all have this fear. Everyone, even if you go and ask the top business person in the world, he will have his own fears. If you go and ask our Prime Minister Modi ji, he will have his fears. It's not that we are not acting in this out of space of fears. We all have fears, but where the action actually happens is, yes, I have a fear of failure, but being an entrepreneur, the entrepreneurial mind of thinking, what it says is, it's okay to fail. I'm okay to accept. I'm okay to try and fail and then start taking steps on my goals. That's where the change happens. Okay. And when you are planning to start and venture, fear of losing money comes to first. What will I, how can I protect my family? What will happen to my deposits if I go and invest in my company? These are the questions. In fact, a person in a midlife crisis who is already having that crisis goes through a lot of this. Okay, so first you have to understand, it is, being a human, it is okay to have his fears, and we all have the fears. And everyone, we don't talk about the fears. Actually, we always talk about the success, being number one in the class, being the best in the world. It's always about the success we talk more. But today I'm going to take you to the other part of that. That's what I'm going to do, the mindset, where every person, what struggle he or she goes through as an entrepreneur, as a faculty who have the huge responsibility to bring the future leaders and develop uh, the new thinking, like an entrepreneurial way of thinking today, which we are maybe I would say out of a wish, sometimes we are even pushed to that space to bring up our children in the classrooms. So take action. What we have to do, just take action and move. Yes, even if you don't feel confident, if you are still thinking twice to put entrepreneurial practice in your classroom, having all those fears, write down your fears, list it, and start taking action. It is okay, right? You know, you as a people, lecturers, you have failed in a number of times. So just do it one more time. All you need to do is just do it one more time in a very different way. So as you do it, your confidence will get developed. And you have to know what is the priorities, because I work with a lot of HODs and professors. I coach them, I mentor them. When I sit with them, when I ask them the first question, do you have the habit of working on your goals and SWOT analysis? The most of the time the answer is no. Then I work with them, I sit with them on their goals. So once you don't work on your goals, once you don't know your SWOT, as Ganeshan sir mentioned what a SWOT is about, and once you don't know what are your priorities, then you're going to struggle with the time. So time is what today in this digital world every one of us is struggling for. So trying to cope up with the time. So break down, work on your goal, divide it into action plans, and take priorities. Work on your priorities first and what needs to be done. And at the same time, it's like no trying to align all the what you say all the ropes. One way you're being a lecturer, one way you have to work with the management, align your vision and mission with the goals of the management. One part you have to work on yourself, another part you have to keep adapting and innovative. So many things you have to do. So unless you know, put everything on a paper in front clear and start working on the steps, and don't bother about your confidence level. Just as you keep moving, you will get better at it. That's what I would love to say here. And always, you know, just many of you have told how to, many of us, we know the stress management. So I'm not going to explain more in detail. These are self-explanatory slides. But what I want to keep a point here is, when you want to develop your entrepreneurial mindset, it is a must you need to have a mentor. So to push yourself out of your comfort zone, you need to have a mentor. You have to identify who is going to be a mentor. You might be the best professor, best lecturer, but you need to have your mentor to help you think out of the box and take you through this process and the steps. You need to have it at every point of time. A person need to have a mentor. Keep this in mind and identify your right mentor and work with him or her. So now the moving on to the third steps, step 3. And what with this 3 is all about, how to manage your fear. This is what I'm talking about. First, work on your goals, write down your action plans, and start taking steps. The next one, when your fear and anxiety goes up, take breaks, take self-care, have a mentor so that he will give you the tinge of positive thing, and work. The final one is, today's world we are bombarded with information, and especially a lot of threatful news which we keep hearing about from the social media. So and we are moved toward the digital and the online world. So it is very difficult for a person who is a lecturer and professor who has to be continuously online for various reasons. Unconsciously, if we are not giving a proper consciousness towards what we are acquiring from the social world, we will start taking a lot of unwanted junks, which is going to heighten your anxiety for sure. So understand what you're going to grab from the social media, what information you need in terms of development and growth. Try to put a filter to discard the information that you know need, or which will create some anxiety in you. Suddenly if you see a message like, okay, this much of salary cuts, this person have lost job in this institution, so this must happen, this is going to create more fear in you, and where you lose your balance to give the best in the classrooms. So understand, set a limit to yourself, which goes to like sleeping on time, putting across, so various things attached to the social media information grabbing. So now I'm moving on to entrepreneurial mindset. Entrepreneurial mindset, when I say, it is about a way of thinking. Once, uh, as an entrepreneur, I am an entrepreneur for 6 years now. As an entrepreneur, I started developing a today the thinking for what I was a teacher. I have a teaching experience of 16 years, so I know how a teacher will be in the classrooms, how to mingle with, understand the mindset of the children, so much of challenges. From there to today, being an entrepreneur full time, the way of thinking has been completely evolved. I could see it myself when I go back and reflect on myself. It is completely, where I would take you to the next slides when on terms of entrepreneurial mindset, completely grown up as a different person from who I was. So it is as you grow, as you take steps, as you develop certain thinking aspects, you will become as an entrepreneurial person where everything of you becomes in chat processing insights by that way. So and overcoming challenges, it is entrepreneur is nothing but like you have to face challenges, you have to cross hurdles, and decision like be quick, able to make quick decisions, and accepting responsibilities for your outcome. So this is so as Ganeshan said, told about our session before, the perspectives, the go-getter, intuitive, these are the various behavior traits the entrepreneur need to develop as a person. If you want to develop certain things, then you have to think about how can I be more creative, more intuitive, more go-getter, more proactive, and so on and so forth. So next I'm moving on to the another topic. This is a Japanese word, kensho. So how many of you know this? What is kensho? Kensho is a Japanese word. So I'm going to wait for the answers. Are you all excited to know what is kensho? Or how many of you know what is kensho? Say yes if you're excited, or just type excited. So the more you participate, I'll be giving you more insightful information. Otherwise, I need more. I need boost from you all to keep myself up and give you more and more as you so could take it back and work on yourself. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. The Kensho effect is a Japanese word. I see someone raising their hands. I would take the question when just type your question in the chat box. I will answer. Okay. Kensho means growth through pain. And there's another Japanese word called Satori effect, which is growth through enlightenment. Kensho is growth through pain. So if you all say, Harini, I am in the worst challenging part of my life. It's a painful period I'm in. It's so tough full time I'm in. If you say this, then hats off to you. I would like to congratulate you all, shake hands with you, say, you are growing. You are just growing. Because when I was in my painful period times, all I sat and thought, like, why this pain to me? Why this challenges to me? That made me an entrepreneur today who I am. And if I look back today, because of those pains, I am who I am as a person, a transformation coach, an international award winning trainer, everything, whatnot. The wishes, the dreams came fulfilled. And I started discovering my pathways. I have created my own pathway to be successful because the pain what I underwent helped me to grow. So this is what I say. If you are in pain, if you are challenges, if you're in very painful part, then understand it's all for you towards it's just because the pain, you are put in the place of pain because the universe wants you to grow. You have to ask yourself, I'm in pain, so why, what you will do? Suppose if your hand is paining, if you say, oh, my hand is paining, then why this pain? Then you will start thinking what I did wrong, what I ate wrong, okay, I kept mobile in my hand for 3 hours. Then you will start thinking, okay, I should avoid it. So the body, through your physical pain is telling you something you're doing is wrong. It is helping you to take care of yourself. The same with the mental pain, the emotional pain, if you're going through, it's because the body is going to tell you that you are doing something or you have to grow through this. You can't stay here. That's what your body is or your physical emotion is pushing you for everything about. So growth, I am growing. Whenever you are in painful time, just say I'm growing. If everybody from every side is pushing you to say do this, do work, okay, learn entrepreneurship, get into this training, join this program, okay, deliver the best session in the class, I want 100% results. Okay, your family is doing, do this, your children are telling mama spend time with me, so much pressure coming, then you're growing to know how you handle your time better, your energy better, your knowledge. How can I, then you start thinking, okay, how can I deliver my session in a smart way? Then how can I increase my energy? Then you join for activities, your yoga sessions, your exercise, you get more boost, you get more energy, and you become better at it. Do you all agree with me? Do you all agree with me saying, because I'm having the pain, I'm growing? Do you all say agree with me? It's because of your past pains only you are who you are today. Do you all agree with me? It's because of the challenges that you face, that somewhere you need to digitally equip yourself, or you need to get that knowledge. You all have enrolled for this program. Otherwise, you would have not, right? It because of your past experiences, which you have learned your lessons, who you are today. So every time when you feel low, do this to you and teach this to your children in the classroom to bring them as the best entrepreneurs in the future. They are the future leaders and the future entrepreneurs. Tell them when they are down, tell them to their in your classrooms, talk about them, talk about their pain. Okay, so now moving on, according to a Dweck, a research in Stanford University says a person believes his basic abilities, his intelligence, his traits are all fixed. He says it's all fixed. A person believes that if I don't know how to speak English clearly, I'm not good at grammar, I don't know how to communicate clearly with people, I'm not a good leader, I'm not the best teacher some way. So these are the beliefs which we have acquired inside from various experience from the past, or either our parent told or your teacher told, or maybe through some experiences you have picked up. So when I was coaching a chairman of a school in Bangalore, so it happened like 2 years back, I would say. So I was her personal coach. We were working on her strength and weakness. So while I was working, she came and told me, Harini, I'm not able to overcome this particular challenge of, like, in terms of money, in terms of success. So when I was working with her, she told her, like, as we work with the people, we kind of use a kind of hypnotherapy also. So when I was working, hypnotizing and working with her, she told me during my first standard, my science teacher told, I will not be able, I'm not a good student, or I'm not smart. You will not be successful. That's what her first standard teacher told. Didn't think the person is now 40 plus, running a school of 500, 200, 300 plus children. Uh, Still, that thought is imbibed in her, saying that I will not be successful, or I'm not enough. Then we worked on her belief, then we changed it, and now she is taking ahead. So why I said this is, the belief system which we form from certain things, you can't do this, you can't do that, is from various reasons where we pushed on to the fixed mindset. But we have to understand that and move to the growth mindset, says my intelligence, my skills can be developed with effort and practice. Like, I was a tuition teacher, I was a teacher, I was a homemaker. From there to here, delivering leadership skills sessions, keynote speakers in conferences, international speaker today I am. So where I just worked on my skills every day to be who I am today. So if I see myself 10 years back, or if you ask me the question, I would have said, no, I don't know how to do this. I was in a terrible fear. But the more you keep work on your skills and goals, and develop it, learn it, and continuously try it, and persistent is the skill you need to develop to attain that success, to reach the level what you want. So now what is the difference between growth mindset and a fixed mindset? Once you understand, and to develop myself to the closed mindset, where I am doing, where I am, and just what I am today, to develop into an extended version of myself, or a better version of myself, to bring that entrepreneurial thinking in me, to develop the foster entrepreneurship in my classrooms, and build the future leaders and inculcate the entrepreneurship knowledge in them, then I need to grow first. Do you all agree with me? I need to grow first as an entrepreneurial person who thinks like that. Or I have to understand more about entrepreneurship to teach that in my classrooms. How many of you agree with me that you need to grow first before you take it to the students? Yes, we are all teachers. We can deliver anything, but you need to understand what is inside exactly. Yes, to that, now this is what you need to understand: the growth mindset and the fixed mindset. And when you understand what is exactly the growth mindset and the fixed mindset, when a student stumbles in the classroom, you would be able to guide him better. You would be able to tell him that the feedback I'm giving is only to help you. It's constructive. Where the student will not take a feedback personally. Like if you say, no, this is not the way you're going to work. This is not the way you submit your project. So how can you develop the children and students in your classroom to build the growth mindset so that they observe whatever they are learning from you when you teach entrepreneurship or when you develop entrepreneurship learning in your classrooms? Before that, you need to develop that growth mindset. When someone comes and says something, how I'm going to take that feedback? When my peer is going to tell me something, hey, come on, think on this aspect of your behavior in your classrooms, or where you lose your emotions in your classrooms. Think on that, work on that. That how I'm going to take it without getting personally offended. So, do you all agree with me? So, this part of what you're seeing on the screen is self explanatory. So, do you all agree with me that I need to develop a growth mindset to become an entrepreneurial person, to develop that thinking, and then I can teach? Today, when I develop a growth mindset, I can teach growth to other children, to teens, to the students, right? So, I know pretty many of you would have seen this slide, especially how we have to move from the comfort zone to the growth zone, right? We are all in the comfort zone. And now we are all also in the fear zone because of the various reasons. What is the environment is also happening around. We are pushed to the fear zone, right? We are pushed to the fear zone. Now you are moving to the learning zone. Not every college, every institution, they are doing some webinars, they are inviting people, they are asking the faculties to enroll, doing the FPP programs. Now we are in the learning zone. Now we have to move to the growth zone. Once you learn certain things here, go back and work on your goals. Find a purpose, conquer your objectives, and then you are ready to take off. Do you all agree with me? Say if you agree with me, I want to type take off, ready to take off for the next slide. Just tell me ready to take off. I will take it off from here. Just type take off. Just type take off. Yes, ready to take off. Thank you so much, Mohammed. Wow, super. Ready to take off. So you know where you are in this position. Identify yourself where you are. How can I move? Now, we are talking so much about growth mindset. Why we need to have the growth mindset? What if I don't have the growth mindset? So you will become a more confident, more resilient person because awesome, awesome. That's an amazing energy, ready to take off. Thank you. So more resilient and more confident, and you will have set of goals. If goal A doesn't work, you will always have goal B to focus on because you are in the growth mindset. If today this is not happening, then I will come up with some other strategy. Suppose if you all say, okay, Harini, your session is a little bit boring, then I will figure out one more way of giving a more delivery interesting session, or I'll find out some other facts so that I get inside you or create a rapport with you. I will do it because my goal is to create an impact whenever I deliver a session. So when my goal is clear, when my target is clear, I work through it, I process through it. Okay? Because my goal is clear. And if goal is clear, if action A doesn't work, I will move on to action B. If action B doesn't work, I'll move on to action C. At number of times, then I will go back and work on my goal if there is need to change a goal at some point of time. For example, I am a teacher, as I said. I also go to schools and colleges in Bangalore or nearby. I go and deliver the classroom sessions for students on various topics, on self-confidence, esteem, and so many related topics. So once the pandemic came in, then I have to think, okay, now already students are in online and it's very difficult to bring them for further more sessions. It is also difficult on the management part to bring them for this extra sessions. because they are struggling already. They are into the new adaptive techniques. So it is very difficult for me to get into the skill learning or to foster the skill learning in the teams to approach the school, where my business had to take, like I had to think what else the way to achieve my goal. So what I thought, okay, let me keep the children aside and focus on teachers, entrepreneurs, and women. So I started rolling out success design program, one of my niche programs called positive thinking program, where people across the globe are participating. It's a 21-day challenge program I'm doing. I'm bringing people towards positive thinking, helping them to think positive in this pandemic, which is started in pandemic, and I got international accreditation for that today. So what I'm saying is, when you are in the growth mindset that I need to grow, then whatever the challenges comes, you will not be stopped at all. You will keep just going, adapting yourself and changing. So you need to work on this growth mindset. Now, I would like to quote here to Robin Sharma. Robin Sharma says, if you don't ask what you want, you will not get. So if you want, say, I want to have some butter dosa today, you need to go and ask either a restaurant person who is giving you the butter dosa, or you need to go back and make yourself a butter dosa. If you get that, if you get the thirst of having it, quench of having that butter dosa, okay, if the desire of having it. So when you ask what you want, so if you say to your husband, if you say to your spouse, okay, I want this, I want that, then he or she will be able to buy it either soon or in the coming days. The person understands your desires. The same way, you need to show your desires to the world. I want this. I want that. There is no wrong in asking what you want. Okay, you just need to be clear with what you want. There is no wrong in asking I want 1 million or 10 million. There is no wrong in that, right? You need to ask that first. The person who asks, they will get it. You need to just ask what you want. Do you want a Hyundai car or you want a Lamborghini car? Do you want a BMW or you want a Ferrari, this roadster car? So you have to understand that what I want. So when you understand what you want, you have to write it in a goal form. Once you write it in a goal form, you will start taking steps towards the growth. So why I'm talking about the growth here, you need to grow yourself as an entrepreneurial person before fostering, preparing your classrooms to bring the entrepreneurial mindset and creating them a future for them. And you also need to build that in an everyday aspect of life. And once you understand that you are on the pathway of growth, you will start working on your goals, you achieve your goals, and then success comes to you naturally, whoever you are and whatever your success definition would be. So Irina Ghosh, she is a leadership position in a Microsoft place. She is a leader. What she did in this pandemic is she went and learned design thinking. So, do you think it is necessary for her to learn at this being a leadership position? She might be earning in a few lakhs every month, minimum of like 5 lakhs or 10 lakhs. We don't know. But why she need to go and learn design thinking at this point of time? She could have, she is in a high position, she is in a leadership position. We need to think. We faculties need to think. Have I grown my skill? Have I learned something new? Yes, you're learning so many things in the webinars, I understand. But how I am going to put it into practice within myself and then in my classrooms? So, sales, marketing, so many things. And as an entrepreneur, you need to develop. This is what an entrepreneur need to develop, and how you as a person going to relearn, learn something new, and keep updating your skills. So we are all faculties. Yeah. So we have a 6 faculties within ourselves. All of us have this, which is going to guide us every time, which is our imagination, intuition, the will to work and respond, take things ahead, the memories which we have, which creates beautiful memories and learned memories from where we learned certain things, and the perception towards. certain things, events, and the reasoning skill. So these are the skills which keeps us going, which makes us polishing ourselves, which makes us better every day, right? We all have these faculties. But when you want to bring this entrepreneurship in your classrooms, and when you want to build this within yourself as a person thinking like an entrepreneur, you have to be a continuous learner at first. Though we have all these inner six faculties, you have to learn. You have to learn from another mentor. You have to keep learning new courses. Creative thinking is more important in today's life. How you are going to deliver your sessions in the classroom in a creative way? And sitting in front of the laptops, it is even more tiring because you feel like you don't have control over the children, right? Because when you are standing in the classroom, you have that feeling like I am the me. But when you are sitting, you feel that I'm not able to control, or it somewhere makes you feel that I have lost myself, like lost my identity of being. No, we are proud of ourselves being standing in front of the classroom, nurturing the young minds, or putting them towards thinking, or encouraging them, or teaching them new everything, and we get excited every day. And somewhere sitting in this has become a lot of discomfort to ourselves. So we need to have that mentor to come out of certain cocoon that we are in and deliver. So when you talk about the entrepreneurial perspectives, it is all about delivering what the customer wants, and uh, learning more about marketing and sales as an entrepreneur, and adding value to the customers is a business secret to success. And finally, you all learn everything today. You will be learning more in the coming days. You will learn after that also, no doubt. Being a teacher, you are a learner for at first. I agree with the participants I'm seeing here. Every one of us is that, but are you applying that in your everyday life? Are you taking one of this? Suppose if you say just take goals and put it in your classroom, you start practicing goals, teach goals to your children. That itself will bring a lot of change in your classrooms, because goals is all at first an entrepreneur need to start work on. If there is no clear path, no clarity, then it is going to become difficult to take steps towards the success. And procrastination, we all have, every one of us suffer from this procrastination. These are certain some self questions you need to ask. Am I struggling from this? Is my goal too vague? So what I was working with a research visiting professor in Kerala. So she came to me for a personal working goals for her personality development sessions. So when I was working with her, I asked her, what do you want? So she is a visiting professor there in Kerala. She's an MBA professor. So she told me, Harini, I am earning this amount, say 10K as a visiting professor, 20K a month, something like that. Then she says, I want to earn 10 lakhs a month within a year. So this is what she told. When I asked her to write down her goals, this is what she told. I want to earn 10 lakhs a year, start my new venture, and do the teachings or whatever it is. It's going to be the same learning industry she's planning to be in, but this is what I want to earn. Then I asked her one question. Okay, you want to earn 10 lakhs. I agree. This is it's a big goal. It's an audacious goal. I would say you're not able to achieve it. You will be able to achieve it. But do you think will you be able to do it in a year? Because what you are earning now, it's like more than 100 times like what you want, right? Then I asked her, when a person earns 10 lakhs, okay, putting out your goal. Thank you, sir. So when a person earns 10 lakhs, say suppose if you take a CFO or a company or a director of a company or a big person who earns 10 lakhs a month, who has invested his 20 years of experience in the company, learned his leadership skill, and what is being paid for? He's paid for his leadership skill, his creative thinking, his decision making skill, acting on the crisis management. That's what he's being paid for, right? He's being paid for the skills. That's what a manager or top level notch industries people are paid for. So to come to that level, he has invested so much of time, effort, skill, learning, everything. And you want to do it in 1 year? This is the problem with our people. We want everything faster. We want everything. I'm not saying you are not able to earn, but what is the skill gap that you're going to work on to get to that level? So is my goal too big? You have to ask this question. So you have a bigger goal. Okay, this is my goal. 10 lakhs per month is my goal. Fine. Now, where you are, say if my earning is 1 lakh a month now, then aim for 5 lakhs or 3 lakhs a month. Then how we are going to go there? To go to here to there, what is the skill gap you are having? When your institution will tell you, okay, you are getting this much paid, or this is where you will be paid, or this is what you would be. Or if you say, I want to impact this much of students, I am only creating impact with this much of students, then how we are going to do that? What extra measures and extra effort you are going to do, create? How much entrepreneurs you are going to become? I mean, you are going to make in the future? How many entrepreneur person you are going to bring it up with? So these are the things you need to think about. So moving on, accepting failures. You have to understand there is no failure. It's only feedback. Every time you fail, every time when you do a mistake, you fail. But mistakes and the struggle we face, you have to say to yourself, it is okay. It's okay, I made a mistake. It's okay. It's struggle. I have faced a lot of struggles. It is okay. Then you can grow to the next phase. So when you did a mistake, what you need to do is, yes, I did a mistake. It is okay, I did a blunder. So we always think, no, we lecturers, we have an identity always. We carry in fact, it's a big responsibility we carry in front of the classrooms, that we should not behave silly, or we should not behave so childish, or we have to be strict and crisp and like, no, like that always. While carrying out your job, we lose our childhood. We sometimes forget to smile, even laugh, even play, right? We all do that. We all forget. We become so strict and so involved that we lose our childishness inside. What we want to do actually as a child. There is a child in every one of us who wants to be bubbly, happily roaming around, doing something for just without carrying your identity. Be as you are as a person. So ask yourself, what I have learned from it. How can I be more creative, and how can I do next time to avoid a certain mistakes? And work on your, just get connected with your child inside you as much as you can when you have your me time. So moving on to power of 5 P's. Are you all there with me? Is everyone is in pace with me? If you say yes, I'm moving on. Are you all there in pace? Yes? Can I get an yes from the people? Do you all like the session till now? Is it adding any value to you all? Do you feel that, yes, Harini, I got this one takeaway from here? At least one takeaway that I'm going to start practicing. Is it adding some value to you? As I said, I'm not going to tell anything different. You all know everything of it, but I'm just giving you in a different form. So here, the power of 5 P's is to success. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much. I truly appreciate and gratitude to everyone here for listening to me. And so 5 P's to success is what entrepreneurs, every entrepreneur, have seen myself or others, they plan. We are very positive when rolling out an idea and a creation. And we also have the patience in rolling out and things. And we pause when the things doesn't work. We do take a pause, and that when we pause, we don't proceed. We stop there actually, because we don't have the perseverance skill to do it one more time, to try it one more time. That's what the success is all about. Even you faculties have tried some innovative thoughts. Suddenly, when you're sitting in the home, when you are having a shower, you will get a shower thought. You will get that thought, wonderful, beautiful, creative thought that you're planning to put it to the classroom. And you come to the classroom with so much of happiness, trying to teach something new, with so much of positivity, and with you put it in the classroom. You are waiting, patiently listening, patiently waiting for the things to happen, and you don't get any feedback, or the children doesn't appreciate, or they don't accept your idea, or they reject your idea. I'm going to create a change today in the classroom. I'm going to do this and come back and do, and the same response. Where you say, you take a pause and think, I'm not able to do it, so I'm not going to do it one more time. And there you stop being creative. It's not that you are not creative. You have stopped somewhere being creative. You have stopped somewhere being thinking proactive, or you've stopped somewhere being innovative because of various things happen to you. But all you need to do is have develop of the perseverance and take it to the next level one more time. That's where it leads to success. Do you all agree with me? This happens to many of us as people, as especially as lecturers and professors and principals and teachers. We go struggling through. So when we quit, we struggle. Yes, as I said, we fail, we quit. I say, stop, I'm not going to do this. No, the children are not responding. How much our creative ways or how many things I do, it's the same thing. I cannot. We go back to the same thought. But success is what, when you see other person succeeding, you know this is an iceberg view of a success. You all know. Before below that, there is so many things a person undergoes. Even as an entrepreneur, you don't know what the entrepreneur, if you're seeing Mark Zuckerberg, a successful person who has created a Facebook platform, so also coming into WhatsApp, as they said, he might also take up Signal. He is growing, but we don't know how much of the hard work and dedication and disappointment and so many things he has undergone. That's what makes a success person success today, and we are happily using the product created by a person. Now we talk about success only, we never talk about the failures even in our classrooms. But we talk about Michael Jordan as a famous football player, who you want to become. So Michael Jordan, who you want to become. Messi, who you want to become. Ganguly, Sachin, oh, etc, etc, etc. But we never talk about the failures. He says, I've lost so many games, I've missed so many shots. That is why I failed every time. That is why I succeeded again. Teach this in your classrooms. Develop this thought in your students. It's okay to fail, it's okay to miss, it's okay to lose. And you first yourself said, yes, I have failed again. I've tried a new method, I failed again, it's okay. Again, I'm going to continue. Today, if you're learning something new, if you're going to put it into the practice into the classrooms, you might fail. You might not, it might not work out. So no, I'm not being negative here, but just try to understand that it's okay. Then what next? What next? And we all have rejection. The people who get into the bad phase of stress, anxiety, depression is like either they face rejection, they say nobody loves me, or I'm not enough. These are the predominantly two things that the people whole world suffers from. Like everyone who goes through the tough phases have faced this. Like either you face rejection, your idea is rejected, your thought is rejected, you as a person is rejected. So you have to wear the bulletproof to say, yes, you have rejected, but I am not going to take this rejection inside. I am not going to. The moment you decide, I am not going to take this rejection and I'm going to keep work on myself again and again, nothing can stop you from what you want to do and create that mark as a professor, as a lecturer, as a person who you are in adding a value to the world. So how you quit? The first time when you face a challenge, this is a brain mechanism I'm trying to explain to you. When you face challenges, you quit. We quit, right? When we quit, then brain says, okay, so she has faced some challenge. Okay, she quit. Okay, the next time, one more challenge comes. Okay, the brain cells from inside. Okay, you quit. Last time you quit it, now also you quit. Then we quit second time. Then once we quit for the second time, we surrender ourselves to the brain. And we give a message to the brain. It is difficult for me to get into the process. Rather, it is easy for me to quit because I am in a comfortable zone. I don't want to move out of this comfort zone and try something new. Then there forms a habit loop in the brain. Then when the third time something your organization or your institution head is telling you, come on, try this in the classroom, again you quit because you know When you face challenges, you have already been trained to quit, not to try that anything new. So you have to, unless you break the habit loop, what you're seeing, you have to identify yourself where I have created the loop, whether I am created the loop at the first itself, or when I tried the file challenge and then I quit it, where I have created the loop. Then go ahead and break the loop. Once you get clear with this habit loop, you would be able to take things in an innovative, different way. So when you are getting stressed or too much of overwhelming, that we, you lecturers, we are all facing in this pandemic, too much of media time, too much of screening time, too much of sitting in laptop, not much of activities, calls, admin work, sitting at one place, so many things happening. You have to ask these things: am I sleeping, am I meditating? Or these are the basic things you need to ask, and go for some self-care routines if you want. Okay, as an entrepreneur, what you need to do to develop the entrepreneur, you have to inculcate the behavioral of encouraging your students in a classroom to help another budding entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur. And if you are tomorrow seeing some of your peers, as Ganeshan sir said, if you, he has been witnessing in some of the colleges where the professors, lecturers have started their industry, have started their venture, registered them. So if you see tomorrow, if you see someone in your organization is going to do this, support them, buy from them, encourage them. This is how the entrepreneurial system works. This is how you can equally support others and grow along with together. And attend, I don't know how many of you people would attend, but I would like to tell here, uh, try to attend as much as conferences, networking events, summits. Go and see how other lecturers, professors, principals are showcasing their talent, how they are talking, learn from them. You build that network. You will, once you come back with that much of learning, that is a very different learning that you're going to get entirely from what you are learning inside the classroom or inside your own institution. So come out and learn, attending that networking events, socializing events like educational summits or conferences. There, it's going to be a different world what you learn. It's not only learn, it's going to help in your develop your personality in a different way. You will have a lot of takeaways coming from there. And listen to entrepreneur stories and share them in their classrooms, and you can also get insights. Finally, I'm closing the module 1 of entrepreneurial mindset. Secret to success, with secret to success is like a gratitude mindset. Like, just I want you to immediately take a note and write 3 things you're thankful for now. Just write 3 things you're thankful, 3 things or 3 people or 3 events or 3 places you're thankful for now. Just write. You don't need to write why you're thankful for, but just write. I thank this. Thanks for that. Thank you for. It can be your husband, it can be your spouse, it can be your wife, it can be your parents, it can be your support system who is putting you, working you for helping you to make things together. And then self love, practice love towards yourself. When you start loving towards yourself, you will develop a lot of compassion towards the huge network that you're working with, the students and your peers and so on. And finally, and then letting go and forgiving, that if you want to grow, if you say, Harini, I'm not seeing any growth in my life, then my only answer to you is forgive the people that you have never thought and I can't forgive for. If you say, Harini, whatever happens in my life, I can't forgive the person. Now, my answer to you is forgive the person, things will move on very smoothly in your life. You will see wonders happening in your life. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is it 60? I don't know who is that. Okay, thanks for putting that gratitude note across. And journaling, write out your mind, write out what all your wishes in every day. Meditation and visualization are some of the techniques that you have known many number of times. But these are the top things that you need to practice to achieve success, whoever you are, whatever you want to achieve, whatever you want to create. And finally, 3 keys to success, I would say: will, skill, and refill. So have the will to learn, acquire something new, and develop your skills often, learn something new and learn, and refill yourself. This is what the 3 things the successful people practice to you. How many of you like this key, 3 keys? Give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Give me a thumbs up if you like this. Give me a thumbs up. I'm waiting for a thumbs up. Say up. Yes? Wonderful. I'm waiting for a thumbs up. I'm going on to another 15 more minutes I have, I think. If I get 2 more thumbs up, I'll move on to entrepreneurial ecosystem. Hope you like the mindset topic till now. I see many of you silent observers now. So I know it's a coffee time for all of you. One more time, you all need energy. I need my boost and energy from you people for me to go through the next 15 minutes. So the more thumbs up I get, the more energy I will get. If you want to boost my energy, please give me thumbs up. Okay? 30% filled. Let me take it to 100% now. I got 3. Okay, 7 more to go. 7 more likes I want. I see here 31 people. 7 more thumbs ups. 4 more. Another 6 more to go. Another 6 more to go. I'm just filled up 40%. Is it enough? Okay, 50%, 60%. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Thank you. 70. That's amazing. I am on my track. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So definition of an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Now I'm moving on to the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So according to Colin Masson and Rose Brown, the university professors, they have published a research paper in 2014 at a conference. What they say about entrepreneurship, entrepreneurial ecosystem is all about, it's a set of different individuals who can be a potential or an existing entrepreneurs. And the organizations which supports like business venture capitalists, angel investors, banks, and institutions like universities. Now we are doing this programs, public sector agencies and NGOs, an entrepreneurial process that occurs inside the birth rate of business, like how many business have come up in that particular time, and the potential growth firms and the serial entrepreneurs and their ambition. So this all together forms an entrepreneurial ecosystem. Okay. What is an essence of an entrepreneurial ecosystem? Thank you, Subhash. Thank you so much. Entrepreneur. Thank you, Satya. Essence of an entrepreneurial ecosystem. So the essence of an entrepreneur's ecosystem is just about its people, who are all the people there, and the culture of trust and the collaboration that helps the entrepreneur to interact successfully. So for an ecosystem, for an entrepreneur to work well, the ecosystem must be well built. So what the ecosystem should do? The ecosystem should, that will allow the fast flow of the talents, of whatever the talents, the creative thinking, whatever the ideas coming up with, let it flow from one side, and all the informations that is available for the entrepreneur and the resources in terms of what we are going to see the next slides, in terms of resources like funds, this tangible resources and intangible resources like mentors, whatever the networking groups, the support systems, all this that allows the entrepreneur, where an entrepreneur at any stage of life can go and get all the information on what he or she needs to achieve success. So this is what an ecosystem, a proper ecosystem has to have all these criteria to be there to support an entrepreneur and his venture. So as I said, it has to be well developed for an entrepreneurs, and it is an interactive network of actors, like people are acting, taking up different roles and doing their work, and where they influence each other. And the survival, what is the chance of the survival of an entrepreneur and his venture in a particular region or a company? So this is what. So an entrepreneurial ecosystem, when we talk about, there are various things comes under, but there are top 6 that we are going to consider about. This is what predominantly is the framework has been kept for an entrepreneurial ecosystem, the key domains, if I would say. So the policies, what are the policies? the culture, the human capital, the support that an entrepreneur needs, okay, to the venture, to run his himself, the venture, the business, and the finance, the markets. So these are the 6 key domains. Now I'm going to give you a slight brief of this, which you're going to see more in detail in the next coming days. And this is, I'm almost here to the end of my session. After this is my almost my last slide, I'm going to give an insight on this. So these are the key domains. The leadership, when you talk about the policies, the government policies, what are the leadership policies which are available, like registrations of research institutions, MSME, the various types of registrations, the policies that the government has laid out for the benefit of entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and the financial capital like private sectors, angel investors, venture capitalists, bank, the loans which is comes under the private banks, and success stories, when you talk about the tolerance of risk, the mistakes, the failures that an entrepreneur, and the visible, the success stories, the culture they are in, whatever the entrepreneurs undergoing, the ambition and the drive in the entrepreneur culture, all that adds up to that ecosystem. And when we talk about the support, the non-government institutions like business plan contest happening, where they ideate, they bring people. It was also conducted by Tata Institute of Social Sciences 2 months back, where young entrepreneurs were asked to bring their business plan, and I was there as a participant and the listener. I was asked to come and judge there, and see, this is what various support system which has been laid out, and conferences and entrepreneurship promotion in non-profits, like what now we are doing a lot of sessions through NFED. So this is NBFF, and this is what the support which we are giving, and support professions like legal, accounting, infrastructures, helping the people to communicate, get that networking done. And when you talk about the education institutions now, the specific entrepreneur training that you are all in, and next your students to be put into the training if they are planned to. So these are the human capitals which comes under the network, the diaspora networks and entrepreneur networks. And when we talk about the infrastructures, again, the incubation centers where they ideate, prototype the idea, and then put it across to see whether it is working, and markets which is there as multinational corporations, and again local business networks. And these are the various things. If you go into detail, everything is big as it goes, and basically all you need to understand is these are the basic 6 domains that promotes on ecosystem of an entrepreneurship. So finally, I'm going to close with successful entrepreneurs, one who takes risk, confident with the ability to adapt, think creative. He has to be an intuitive and a spontaneous person in action and continuous learner. And when you have the right positive mindset and persistent hard work and focus within you, and the proper ecosystem that supports every entrepreneur to add value to the world, and this is what is going to be a complete global world. We are going to improve our economy and create a best person, and we create a mark as an individual. So thank you. I hope the session you enjoyed, and the upcoming sessions would be tomorrow for day 2 by Professor Meghna Chabra on creativity and design thinking, and Mary Cherian on identification of business opportunities by Dr. Mary Cherian. So looking forward for all your participation tomorrow. And I am open to take questions now. And thank you so much for listening to me. Hope you all like the session. And for further queries, you can connect with the contact details and the email address given on the screen. Thank you so much. And now I'm opening for a question. Please